The crimson sun of Drakkar Prime cast long shadows across the ruins of what had once been New Terra Colony. Brian stood at the checkpoint, his scaled armor gleaming like molten copper in the dying light. As a dragon warrior of the Imperium, he had seen countless refugees pass through these gates, their faces hollow with loss, their possessions reduced to whatever they could carry, but none had ever refused inspection. Until Nyla. She couldn't have been more than 16 standard years old, her dark hair matted with dust from the wasteland, her clothes torn and stained. But it was her eyes that struck Brian. They held a fierce determination that didn't match her trembling hands clutching a worn leather bag to her chest. "Miss, I need to inspect your belongings," Brian said, his voice modulated by the translator implant in his throat. The genetic modifications that had transformed him into a dragon warrior made his natural speech incomprehensible to unmodified humans. "No," Nyla whispered, tears streaming down her dirt-streaked face. "Please, anything but this." Brian's enhanced vision picked up her elevated heart rate, the cortisol flooding her system. Fear. Pure, primal fear. In his 5 years guarding the refugee routes from the scorched territories, he developed an instinct for danger. His hand moved instinctively to the plasma rifle at his side. "I don't want to use force," he said, his dragon scale plating shifting as he stepped forward. "But protocol is protocol. The Zytharian infiltrators. I'm not an infiltrator." Nyla sobbed, backing against the checkpoint barrier. I'm just trying to survive." Other refugees in the line began to murmur. Brian's partner, Kale, another dragon warrior with emerald green plating, moved closer, his hand also on his weapon. The tension crackled like electricity in the air. "Last chance," Brian said, though something in his gut twisted uncomfortably. She was just a child, a terrified child. Nyla's legs gave out, and she sank to the ground, the bag still pressed against her chest. Her whole body shook with sobs. "You don't understand. If I open it, if I show you." Brian had been trained to view hesitation as suspicious. Delay tactics, manipulation. The Zytharians were masters of disguise, capable of appearing as innocent humans while carrying bioweapons that could decimate entire settlements. 70,000 lives depended on his vigilance at this checkpoint. He reached down and grabbed the bag's strap. Nyla's scream was primal. Anguished. She fought with surprising strength, but Brian's enhanced muscles easily overpowered her. He yanked the bag free and stepped back, preparing to find anything from explosives to viral canisters. His armored fingers unsealed the bag's clasp. The scream that tore from Brian's throat was nothing like the dignified roar of a dragon warrior. It was raw, human, breaking through years of genetic conditioning and military protocol. Inside the bag, nestled in a makeshift nest of torn clothing, was an infant. Not just any infant. A dragon warrior hatchling. The baby couldn't have been more than 3 months old, its tiny scales already showing the distinctive iridescent pattern of the Imperium's elite. But this child had been born outside the controlled breeding programs, outside the military academies. That was impossible. Dragon warriors were sterile, or supposed to be. "Please," Nyla gasped, crawling toward him. "Please don't take him. He's all I have left." Brian's mind reeled. The genetic modifications that created dragon warriors had been declared irreversible, the subjects rendered incapable of natural reproduction to maintain military control. Yet here was living proof that someone had lied, that the Imperium had lied. "Where did you get this child?" Brian demanded, his voice cracking. Nyla's tears flowed faster. "He's mine. His father was. He was a dragon warrior, stationed at New Terra. He told me it shouldn't have been possible, but when I got pregnant, he protected me. He kept us hidden. Then the Zytharians attacked, and She couldn't finish, her grief too raw. Kale approached, his weapon raised. "Brian, what is it? Is it a threat?" The baby stirred in the bag, its tiny eyes golden, like all dragon warriors opening to fix on Brian's face. The hatchling made a soft chirping sound, reaching one miniature clawed hand toward him. Brian's world tilted on its axis. Every truth he'd believed in, every sacrifice he'd made in service to the Imperium, suddenly seemed built on sand. They had told him he was no longer fully human, that he'd given up that part of himself for the greater good. They had told him he could never have a family, never have children, never have a life beyond warfare. All lies. "It's nothing," Brian said to Cale, his voice steadier than he felt. He carefully resealed the bag, but not before tucking the baby more securely into the makeshift blankets. "Just personal effects. She's cleared." Cale's eyes narrowed behind his helmet. "Are you sure? The regulations?" "I said she's cleared, Warrior Cale." Brian's voice carried the authority of his rank. He helped Nyla to her feet, pressing the bag back into her trembling arms. Their eyes met, and in that moment, an understanding passed between them. She saw the turmoil in his expression, the questions burning behind his enhanced features. "There's a settlement called Haven's Gate, 300 kilometers north," Brian said quietly, entering coordinates into her battered datapad. "They don't ask questions. They don't report to the Imperium. You'll be safe there." "Why?" Nyla whispered. "Why are you helping us?" Brian looked down at the bag, at the tiny life hidden within. A life that proved dragon warriors were still human, still capable of love, still capable of creating something beautiful in a universe bent on destruction. "Because," he said softly, "someone needs to protect the truth." As Nyla disappeared into the stream of refugees heading north, Brian stood at his post, his mind already turning over the implications. How many others were there? How many dragon warriors had been lied to about what they'd lost? How many children existed in secret, hidden from the Imperium's control? The crimson sun finally set on Drakkar Prime, and in the darkness, Brian made a decision that would change everything. He would find the answers, he would expose the lies, and he would make sure that no child, human, or dragon warrior would ever have to hide in a bag again.